fucking shit! What a year 2020's been. Well, what can I say? There have been highs, there have been many, many lows. But the main thing is that the nightmare is almost over for us now, and we can look forward to the warm embrace of 2021. A year which I'm sure will be filled with nothing but rainbows and sunshine and mandatory vaccinations enforced by no other than Bill Gates in an attempt to insert microchips into our bodies to make us all mindless slaves to the Illuminati lizard overlords that covertly control the helpless planet from their hollow moon base. All praise the lizard lords. But anyway, this video isn't about all that riff-raff. This video is about celebrating what a fun year we've had creating videos for all you good boys and girls. And I'm here to find out which of you has been very nice and who has been very, very naughty. Anyway, enough of this bullshit beard because it's both itchy and oddly arousing all at the same time, and it's far too much to process this early in the morning. So, on to our little Christmas giveaway. And for those of you who missed our little announcement last week, firstly, where the f*** have you been? And secondly, we've been asking you guys to send me some questions to answer, and in return, the question that I think is the best will win an Andycine A6 Pro. The Andycine A6 Pro is a 5.5-inch 4K touchscreen external monitor that attaches to your camera via the HDMI output, and it's the perfect choice for videographers looking for a way to gain a larger and clearer readout from their camera whilst filming. The 5.5-inch screen is touch sensitive and it allows you to pinch into your image to check critical focus. The A6 Pro has a bunch of other useful features too, including focus peaking, exposure zebras, and much more. And it can either be powered directly from the mains by a power lead or using Sony NP-F batteries, which is a really handy feature when working out on location. Batteries not included. Now, before we get started, I should mention that I haven't seen any of your questions yet. I've resisted the urge to peek, so Paul has kindly added all of them to my tablet for me. So let's go ahead and read them out now. What's the best bang for buck lens for Sony E-mount at the moment, and why is it the Tamron 28-75 f2.8? It's the Tamron 28-75 2.8, funny enough. No, actually that's a really good lens. We use that for video quite a lot. Very cheap. Lightweight, versatile. If you could only pick one lens, probably something like that because it covers all bases. You only need one camera body and you've got a wide angle to a good portrait lens. You are right, sir. Well done. You've opened your YouTube channel and Instagram in March to May timeframe. I have a couple of questions then. What was your motivation? Is it COVID related? How did you advertise your photography service before? In my personal opinion, your gear tests are the best on YouTube. Flattery will get you everything. Well done, Adam. Appreciate that is a technical and practical. Wish you 1 million followers. Me f***ing too, because then I can just bin off everything and make YouTube videos. That's the dream. We wanted to make a YouTube channel for absolutely forever, just never had the time to do it. COVID came around and we thought, you know, now's the time to do it if we're ever going to do it. How did you advertise your photography service before? I've never really advertised. It's always word of mouth. Facebook is your best friend in terms of advertising. You can just shout to all your friends and family that you are providing a photography service or videography or whatever it is. Offer it for cheap or free to start with. I know some people say that's not a good idea. I think that's bollocks. That's how I worked and it worked out for me. Get as much of a portfolio together as you possibly can and then just keep sharing your work. If you're constantly there in people's faces on Facebook just saying, you know, oh, here's some new photos I've taken, here's a new YouTube video I've made, or here's a new show reel I've made, people can't forget you. If the minute you go quiet and stop talking about your services, that's the minute people forget you even exist. My big question is, did Elvis really die? Is he alive? Is Elvis an alien? Love your channel, man. Keep up the good work. First of all, Andrew, what have you been smoking? Can I have some? And is Elvis... Yeah, of course he f***ing died. He's not an alien. I love aliens, but he's not an alien. He's not an alien.
He's a reptilian, man.
Oh, he's a reptilian. He's on the moon base. I've already told you. Well, Santa told you that at the beginning. Why and how do you decide to start your YouTube channel? Which kind of sessions are the ones that you enjoy the most shooting? So we started a YouTube channel because A, I thought it'd be fun, which it is, and B, it forces you to be creative. Having a set deadline every single week, which you're responsible for, forces you to come up with new ideas, which only helps you exercise your creative brain. Plus, also selfishly, it's a marketing thing. Because I'm constantly making content every single week, people then know who you are, then hopefully off the back of that you get some more work, and that's definitely worked for my corporate business this year. My other business is weddings, which is obviously completely dead this year thanks to COVID, but with the corporate stuff we've actually done really well, mainly off the back of YouTube and like I said earlier, constantly being in people's faces. Congratulations. So Tom, how tall are you? 6'8". I'm a giant. And that's not a joke. Haha, you look a bit like Shaggy. How often or how many days a week do you actually take pictures? A good question. Unfortunately, being the boss of your own company, you kind of end up just doing a lot of admin, answering an email, quoting for jobs. But with YouTube, that helps. We obviously have to be out at least one time a week. I'd probably say once or twice a week if I'm lucky. You can only use 3 prime lenses for the rest of your life. What would they be? 35mm, 85mm, and a 135. I really like a 50mm, but if I only had 3 choices, I'd pick that because that kind of gives you a good selection. Hey Tom, I always love getting a notification that you've put up a new video. Thank you for stroking my bell. Yeah, that's how you say it, right? I'm down with the kids. That's how we say it these days. Give the bell a little stroke, little tickle. Thanks for doing it. My question is, if you knew you were about to have your last photography shoot ever, what location would you pick and why? Either somewhere tried and true or somewhere you've always wanted to go. Looking forward to watching the video. Well, if it was my last ever shoot, I would shoot on Bora Bora because it's a place I've always wanted to go and it's just epic. Please review the Sigma 24-70 against the Sony 24-70 G Master, and are the rumours true about that Sigma are dust magnets? Okay, yeah, we'll do that in the new year, no problem. Are they dust magnets? Yeah, Paul seems to think so. I mean, I think all lenses are. They're black. You're gonna notice the dust on them all the time, right? Yeah, the rubber's a pain in the ass, and also the rubber sometimes on. I'm not sorry, Sigma, but the rubber on the grips. If you get water on that, they're really susceptible to watermarks. I wouldn't say they're any more dust magnets than any of my other lenses. I haven't noticed. I've got Sony lenses as well, and they're still just as dusty. Where did you think you'd be right now as opposed to doing photography when you were younger? Did you have a dream you wanted to accomplish or are you still working on? I thought it was going to be a fucking rock star, mate. Genuinely. As washed up as that sentence sounds, genuinely thought I was in a band for a long time, since I was 12. That's where I wanted to be, literally since I was 12. That's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a musician. I'm a drummer. Wanted to do that. Didn't work out. Photography was kind of something I picked it up because I made my own music videos for my band, and then when the band thing fell to shit, I thought that's a way of making money, and that's it really. Are you upgrading to the A7s Mark Iii? Not right now. It's too expensive. Like, it's just under £4,000. Between us, we've got like 5 A7 Mark IIIs, and they kind of do everything. The only thing we're missing really with the A7 Mark IIIs is 4K slow-mo. That's the only thing. Any slow-mo work we do for these videos, we have to shoot in HD and upscale it to 4K, but which isn't perfect, but it's not, not the end of the world. Not worth spending 4K on, as in 4K pounds. Yeah, you get it. You know what I'm talking about. Serious question. Serious face. Is the Sony A7R Mark II worth buying in 2020 for someone that is just getting started? Interesting question. Okay, 2 questions. We'll start with the serious question. Is it worth buying? I don't know. It depends what you're looking for, I guess. I don't think older cameras are a bad shout. You don't have to buy the latest and greatest camera for it to be perfect. You shouldn't pick a camera based on how shiny and new it is. You should pick a camera based on whether it offers you the features that you need. What do you think about Brexit? We are not going there, mate. Hi, Tom. I am one of your first 100 subscribers. Thank you, mate. My question is that your first videos were about more photo styles, different ideas and manipulation. After some point you started to shoot lens and camera reviews. Which videos will you continue to shoot? Personally, I'd love to see videos about different ideas and Photoshop work. Truthfully, the reason why we switched over to lens reviews is because we were given an opportunity by Sigma to review some of their new lenses. Seemed like a fun idea. My old job before I kind of went freelance, I used to work for a photography magazine in the UK, so I used to review cameras and equipment, so I'm used to that. So when that opportunity came around, I thought, great opportunity to see how that does with views, and the stats show that more people are interested in the lens reviews we do, so that's why we've just consistently kept with it, and the trend has been going that way. So unfortunately, the photography stuff and the Photoshop stuff we did originally just doesn't get the traction we needed to grow as a channel. It's something I do hope to go back to one day, but I think we need to get more of a fan base established before we can do that, because ultimately we spend a lot of time making these videos. So for videos to get like 100 views at a stretch, it's kind of not worth our time, unfortunately, but hopefully that will change one day. Thank you for subscribing early. Well, I could try to be funny, but in the end, it would just be because of the giveaway. Here is an honest question. Why did you start your YouTube account, and how freaking old are you? Do I look that bad? Old, decrepit Shaggy over here. Because you are so funny. Stop it. You could easily be a child. Ah, brilliant. Brilliant. Didn't see that one. Why did you start your YouTube account? Kind of covered that. Always wanted to do YouTube, thought it'd be fun, and a bit of a marketing tool. How old am I? That's a very good question, I can't even remember. I'm 31, not a child. Mind of a child, believe me. What or who got you into photography? Congrats, by the way, keep it up. Thanks, dude. What got me into photography? I've always liked being creative. I used to, with my friends, borrow my dad's like handycam camera. And me and my brother used to make stupid sketches and do stop animation, and we wanted to be Jackass at the time. That was massive craze when I was a kid, so we started making our own Jackass videos, which we actually unearthed recently. Not as funny as I remember. Bunch of idiots not knowing what to do with a camera, but yeah, that kind of got me off on the road to it. And then a friend of mine had a DSLR who was in my band, and we were going to do a Canadian tour. I saved up a load of money to survive whilst we were out in Canada, and then the tour fell through. So I had all this money left over, so I bought myself a camera. And then I was coming to the end of my A-levels, and I really didn't know what I wanted to do with life in general. So I last minute enrolled to do a 2-year photography course and kind of did that, and then ended up working for the photography magazine and blah, 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 rest is history. What is the most awkward pickup line you've ever used and did it work? Well, mate, I am the wrong person. I have never used a pickup line in my life. I was the most awkward, I still am awkward as so there is no pick. I'm just lucky that my wife said yes. Otherwise I'd be more single than George. Sounds man.
Shots fired.
What would be your favourite lens you got, or just in general, at what focal length do you like to shoot? And also, which are the first lenses you got and which ones do you recommend if you're starting out in photography? My favourite lens at the moment, the Sigma 85 f1.4 is by far my favourite lens. I think they've just got everything right with that lens. What focal length do you like to shoot? Portraits, 85mm now, 100%. Shoot 90% of my portraits at 85mm. That and 35s. If I'm my 35 is still my favourite focal length for like candid shots at weddings. It's just really versatile, especially if you're in people's houses shooting quite close up. 35mm is just awesome. What's the most awkward moment you've had during filming a wedding? Awkward moment? We've nothing like cripplingly awkward. We've had one wedding where the bride was just about to walk down the aisle and the music stopped. It took them a good, 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Felt like an hour. Loads of scrabbling behind the scenes, the room's dead quiet, everyone's trying to get the music back on, and then eventually the music comes back on, she walks down the aisle, and then later on, first dance, halfway through the first dance, the fucking music cuts out again. You literally couldn't like make that up. Would you rather have to shoot everything in black and white or everything at f8? Black and white. I like black and white. I actually shot a lot of black and white when I first started out because I really like high contrast images, so yeah, f8. Do one. Unless you're shooting landscapes like f8, I don't touch it. Hey Tom, great content so far. I like so far. Still, the verdict's still out on that one. Could go downhill. Looking back on how you built up to your first 2K, would you do the same again? What would you do differently? I'm not a massive fan of changing things from the past because like you learn from stuff, but hypothetically, if I could start again, I wouldn't have done any of the Photoshop stuff that we did originally because it was a lot of work and didn't get a lot of traction. So knowing what I know now, I would have probably started off with gear reviews. But then saying that, the opportunities we've been given to do gear reviews came off the back of those Photoshop videos. That's what I mean. You kind of, yeah, I wouldn't change anything really. Would you mind telling us 3 moments that define your life? Something like make or break moments, best, worst experience, some experience that drives you forward. I believe this would help us to get to know you, not just your work, but also as a person. Greetings from Indonesia. Greetings. My band breaking up was definitely a massive pivotal moment in my life because it meant that basically my dreams, emo is more emo, this is the most emo statement I've ever made. That was my dreams were shattered for a long time. It genuinely, my dreams are haunted. See how many people worked that one out? Not many, hopefully. It took me genuinely, mentally, it took me at least 3 to 4 years to get over it. Like I've never really had big breakups in my life because I'm awkward as and didn't have many girlfriends. So trying to process that and get over the fact that that's just not an option to you anymore because I was too old and just didn't have enough time and I had to start earning some money if I wanted to start a family and stuff. Like my time had run out on that project. That was difficult. But on the plus side, I wouldn't be sat here doing this if that hadn't have happened because I wouldn't have picked up my camera as much and I wouldn't have gone down the road I did. Second pivotal moment, having my first proper job working for Digital Photo magazine. Rest in peace. It doesn't exist anymore. Shortly, a year after I left, I think, roughly a couple of years after I left, it all went to shit. I mean, I'm not saying I was the linchpin, but I was the linchpin. I'm still friends with my boss. He's definitely going to hate me if he sees that. That was a massive, massive career opportunity for me. And naively, when I started that job, I'd just come out of college, did pretty well in the course that I did. I genuinely took that job thinking, I know everything. This is easy. That was a massive, massive learning curve for me. I realised very quickly I knew nothing. And the guys on digital photo, I said this to them when I handed my resignation in, I literally owe everything to them, because Kingsley and John taught me everything, really. Taught me everything about not only photography, but they taught me about videography, about editing. They gave me opportunities to do that, gave me cool opportunities to go and test new gear abroad. Like I used to go on cool press events when traveling was a thing, if you remember that. Can you remember that? So yeah, it gave me loads of cool opportunities. Like that was a massive, massive point. And it also taught me how to be a writer. I was a writer predominantly for the magazine, writing about how to take better photos. So not only did I learn new photo skills and video skills, it taught me how to write scripts, which is kind of what I do on a day-to-day basis now. So that was a massive point. I should probably say marrying my wife was a defining moment, just in case she does watch this. Love you. Oh, my kids. No, my kids. Probably should mention those. Let's bundle them together, yeah? I'd say, no, in all honesty though, my kids definitely were a more important point than me than getting married.
5 minute section of this band breaking up.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I've also got a wife and kids.
Yeah.
Put them on the list. Put them on the list. Don't forget about them. They're somewhere.
Yeah. We'll edit around this. We could change the order, right? We'll put them first. Thanks, George. Big question is the Viltrox 85mm f1 8 Mark II worth a buy? Watch the review. Watch the review! What keeps you going if you are in a creative hole? Other people. Like, look for inspiration from other people. Most of the ideas that I come up with, it's very rare that it will just like spring to me. It will be because I've seen something else and that's then opened up a door that takes me down a rabbit hole, you know what I mean? So I don't know why rabbit holes have doors, but it's my analogy, all right? F***ing hop on board or get off. Look at other people's inspiration. Don't rip them off though. Don't rip people off. Not cool, man. As a photographer getting into video, I'm struggling mostly with the editing of videos, not the hardware or filming itself. Any tips for me or worthwhile tutorials for DaVinci Resolve helping me smooth this getting started period? And also, I have used the back screen of my A7R. Quite curious to see the upgrade of having a dedicated film monitor. Oh, well that's convenient, isn't it? Tutorials for DaVinci Resolve, never used it in all honesty. I've only ever used for video Final Cut Pro, which I hated personally. I know loads of people like it, but I hated it. Then we moved away from Macs and we use PCs now. We use Premiere, I use Adobe. I've never used Resolve, so I don't know how easy or hard it is, but I would potentially say start off with a more basic piece of software. Premiere's fairly straightforward. There are plenty of people on YouTube offering really good Premiere Pro basic tutorials. Premiere Elements might be another one to look at. It's basically a watered down version of Premiere Pro, so it's a bit easier to grasp. And then once you've gone and mastered that, you can then leapfrog onto Premiere Pro or something else. What is the best and worst purchases you have ever made? One of the best things I've bought actually is something that's probably not undersung, is a gaming PC. I actually invested a year ago now in a top spec gaming PC because A, we like gaming, and B, for editing 4K footage, that thing just doesn't stutter, it's incredible. So that just sped our workflow up massively because so many people focus on the cameras, the lenses, the lighting, all that stuff, which is important, but if then editing the video at the end is just a complete nightmare, it just makes you resent the whole process. Worst things, I bought some Gobi NDs, which I thought, you know what, I'll spend a little bit more on some ND filters, bought them, they weren't very good. But they did come with a voucher which offsets their carbon emissions. So I did plant some trees somewhere in the world, so that makes me feel good. Probably never happened, but I filled in the card, sent it away. They sent a nice little flashy thing saying you've saved the world. So there you go, I've done my bit now. I'm just gonna start driving a diesel for the rest of my life. You can have one secret video audio feed from anywhere in the world. Where'd you put it? Area 51. Or S9. Is it S9? S4? No. Sheffield. Centre of Sheffield. I'd love to know what they're doing in lockdown. Area 51 or Sheffield, one of the two. Dude, I love that your videos are educational as well as humorous. Thank you. I want to know how long you've been doing photography and videography. Way too long, mate. Technically, I've been self-employed for the past 7 or 8 years. I can't remember. How long have you been with me? 5, 4, 5? Too long. 5 years? 4 years. 4 years. Must be 7 then. I think it's 7 or 8 years I've been doing it, but independently for myself. I bought my first camera when I was 18. Best tips for beginners. I think the first thing that people should learn is the exposure triangle. And it's one thing you don't necessarily get taught at college, or, well, you do, but not very well. It's kind of like, this is the exposure triangle. But master the exposure triangle, and then also learn the other shooting modes on your camera, because a lot of people fall into the trap of, I have to be on manual mode because I'm a photographer. But that's not true. Like, I rarely shoot on manual mode anymore. Most of the time I'm taking photos, I shoot on aperture priority because I want to control the aperture. I don't really give a toss about the shutter speed, so long as it's fast enough that it's not going to blur my image. ISO is always going to be as low as it can possibly go, and the aperture value I want to control, but usually it's wide open unless I'm trying to, you know, get more into the frame in focus. Why is this what a question mark looks like? I mean, it could look like anything, but it looks like a question mark. Is there an actual meaning to that? Also, congrats on 2K subs. Is there any meaning to anything in life, mate? Why does an A look like an A? I don't know. Somebody just went, and that's it. We're all just other little monkeys walking around the planet going, A. If you were on a sitcom, what would your opening song be? Even if it's like a rom-com, that would be my opening. They're like, I feel like somebody's walked in the room, but I can't see them. If you could go on any TV game show, which would you choose and why? Well, Robin, I've been on one. I'll let you guys try and find that on YouTube. I think it is on YouTube. Yeah, I was on a game show, did terribly. Met Vernon Kay, there's a clue. But if I could choose any other one, massive fan of Catchphrase, loved Catchphrase as a kid, or Crystal Maze. Crystal Maze is the one. Anyone outside of the UK know what the Crystal Maze is? Well, probably not. Google the Crystal Maze. If it's not in your country, soz. Who'd win in a fight between you and Paul? Paul! He'd f*** me up. Why has curry replaced fish and chips as the national dish? Because curry's f***ing great, mate. Curry is so much better than fish and chips. Like, fish and chips is like, if you come in here and you want to get something traditional, fish and chips is your one, right? But curry, next level. You're right, okay, here we go. Go to curry restaurant. What curry would you like? Oh, I don't know. Can I see the menu? Here it is. Boom! Lists go on for miles. Fish and chips. Do you want salt or vinegar? That's it. They're your options. I've just bought the Sony A7R Mark Iii along with the Sigma 85mm DGDN lens. What 35mm lens would you recommend to pair with this? Also, would you rather grate cheese or be a cheese grater? Which 35? I don't know, mate. I'm still on that search. There's not really a good 35mm that I've really tested. We reviewed them recently. Click here if you want to see that, if you haven't already. Would I rather grate cheese or be a cheese grater? Why in God's earth would I want to be a cheese grater? I don't see any benefit to that. I'll grate cheese. Next. As a French subscriber, Macron or Boris? I'm not getting into politics because somebody will get upset. Have you ever tried using an ultra-wide angle lens and put your biceps in the warpy corners to look buff? Be honest. No, but I'm definitely not going to be putting my biceps in the corner if that's what it does to them. Which is better, original curry or chicken and mushroom flavoured pot noodle? Oh, God, mate, that is a good one. I'm going to go curry. Is that controversial?
Oh, you backed curry earlier.
Yeah, I did back curry quite heavily earlier, so I feel like I've got to stand on it. Chicken and mushroom's good, but just curry, man. Curry everything. Funny enough, curry sauce, fish and chip shop. If it weren't good, they wouldn't offer it, would they? Hi, can you be a pro, brackets work, without the pro native lenses? Yeah, of course you can. Being a pro isn't defined by the gear you have, man. It's by your mindset. All right, champ? You can do it if you believe you can do it. British seagulls versus Australian magpies, which is the worst? Never been to Oz, don't know what an Australian magpie is, but all I do know is British seagulls are brutal. Do you believe that in 2021 it's worth selling the A7 Mark III to get the A7s Mark III? If you predominantly do video work and you have the spare $2,000, yeah, I'd say the A7s Mark III is the better option. If you are like us, where we're photographers and videographers, you need that versatility, keep your A7 Mark III. Just wondering if you have heard through the grapevine whether Viltrox will be releasing more E-mount full-frame lenses. I own the 85mm f1.8 and I love this lens. Keep the videos coming and I really enjoy them. Funny enough, Thomas, I saw on one of the rumour websites literally yesterday that there is speculation they're going to be releasing a 24mm, a 35mm and a 50mm, I believe. I don't know if there's any weight to that, but apparently they're coming. What was it like when you released your first video? Genuinely interested? Yeah, good. I enjoyed the climb rather than just doing one thing and going, great. Hey Tom. What's your favourite hobby / pastime out of photography? Playing video games. I don't really do much of it at the moment because I've got 2 young kids and more businesses than I need, but I like playing video games, usually really nerdy, historic themed games. We all like playing Hell Let Loose in the office. I've personally been playing Crusader Kings 3, really like that game. British seagulls are the same size as Texas cockroaches. Probably. How's the Sigma 135mm autofocus in low light? Want to get it, or the Sony for concerts, whenever that starts happening again. Full test is here. I actually tested the Sigma against the Sony. Off the top of my head, I think they're pretty good in low light. I think overall the Sony is the better option. It's just a bit more expensive. A bit of a deep question, but could you just explain your life journey so far? Wow, okay. And how you've got to the point you're at now. I love hearing about other creative stories of how they got into it. Absolutely love your videos. Thanks, dude. And learned so much from you, so I'm eternally grateful for you. Oh, I treasure you too. The British version of Gerald Undone. Thanks, I think. I don't know if that's just a diss to Gerald. So it all started, it was all very dark, and all I could hear was a heartbeat, boom, 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 boom. And then there was a bright light, and literally like this, like a scene out of Alien, I was like, ah, ah. And then fast forward a little bit and I'm here. Oh, that's the last question. What a way to end. So now I've got to pick a winner. There's only one winner for me because I have a perverse mind, and you gave me a really bad idea to try out when this video's finished, and that's Star Wars Bites. Congratulations, man. You have won the Andycine A6 Pro. To claim your prize, obviously we haven't got your name, so there's a few options. Either leave an email address in the comments below to this video using your same account, one that's not going to cause you any problems if some tries to hack it. Alternatively, if you can send me a screen grab of the back end of your YouTube channel just showing that it is really you, a dick pic, and also your bank account details, you just direct it to me on Instagram or Facebook, and then yeah, we'll get in touch with you. But congratulations, my friend. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for all of your questions. Thank you to everyone for subscribing to the channel, all of the comments you've given me over the year. Thank you just for being a part of this channel and for helping us to grow. Thank you also to Andycine for providing us with a giveaway gift for this competition. If you want to learn more about Andycine and the products that they can provide, there's a link in the description below. Just to give you a bit of an update as well, we're going to have a short break from posting videos from now until the new year. So make sure you hit subscribe and ding-a-ling-a-ling Santa's shiny big bell to make sure that you don't miss out on any notifications once we come back in the new year. In the meantime, have a bloody awesome Christmas, all of you beautiful people, and a happy new year, and we'll see you all again in 2021. Quiet on set! Quiet! Santa's a professional! I get fluff all in my mouth. Quality by the elves.